Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me and this is your first time visiting, I am Grace and I have been canning and gardening for over 40 years. So I've had to learn the hard way because there wasn't internet or YouTube or anything back then to learn things. What I'm going to talk about today is cleaning your jars. Why is it so important that you need to clean your jars after they come out of that canner and when they're cooled down? There are many reasons for that. One reason is that what happens is, especially with meat, okay, with meat it will collect down here, you got the grease and everything, and this will attract insects, it will attract all kinds of gnats, you name it, it is an attraction. It is food, it's down probably in your basement somewhere, and it will attract every critter that you can think of. And not only that this eventually will mold. You'll get mold. And after years of experimenting, and I did do an experiment with it, I did see where the lid was molded really bad, or, around the jar here, and it was cracked open. And I left it go, and eventually that mold will open up that seal on your jars. There's another reason why you want to keep your jars clean, and that one I'll show you a little later. That one's interesting, and a lot of people probably don't think about the other reason. Okay, we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you how to wash these jars. First thing you want to do, I do them in Dawn dish soap. I put, for the size jar, I put water, about the halfway here. Nice good hot water, as hot as you can stand it. Now for some of you who have watched my videos, I had bubbles everywhere, you've seen that I'm probably in another kitchen. I'm still at home. We remodeled the other kitchen that I've been videoing in, and this is the old kitchen where we took the sink and counter, and this is my canning room now and where I bake. So I'm still at the same house. That is hot. I always put a rag down in, so when my jars, they're not on the hard sink here. Never leave your rings on. They will rust. And when they rust, they'll rust into your seal. All right. These things, now what I did here, I had baked a turkey, so I made some broth out of it. So this is greasy. Even though there's not much siphoning that comes out of my jars, but you can still feel a little bit of a grease. And then in your lids here, it is greasy and you need to get that all off. So I always get them in there and get them soaking. Like I said, get it as hot as you can stand it. Let me get this. And I just take the water around the top of the jar here, get it good and hot. A lot of people will just go like this, okay, which is fine, but sometimes these are pretty good creases in these jars. So we want to I take each ring, go around on the jars. That's what your 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch ring. And very gently, I'll do a close up here in a minute, around the top so you don't break the seal. Rinse it off really good. Again, I do as much hot water as I can stand, not too hot. You want to get it right here, underneath here, really good. Just take your time. There's a lot of work to doing all this. Now when you get up close to the seal here, what I do very gently, make sure you get in between here, because that's where a lot of the food can get stuck up in there underneath that rim, and just do it gently, and that way you don't pop the lid. Okay, let me get one more here. Like I said, you'll be surprised. Other than the bugs and the mold, and you know, this stuff, especially jams, they attract gnats really bad. They attract everything. And you go down there and then you end up, it attracts flies if you don't wash the outside, and then you go down there and then there's maggots on the jar. Make sure you get the bottoms. And then give them a good hot rinsing. There we go. Now the other thing I do, I take my jars and I wipe them down, dry them really good, especially around that ring. Okay. Another thing, the Amish all moved in around me. And they're always asking me questions about canning. The one family, I felt so bad for them. She came up and she wanted me to come down and look at her canning jars and wanted me to know what happened. Why did all her jars, the lids, pop, corrode, rust, just within probably 8 months. And I went down in their basement and I knew exactly what the problem was. The basement was wet with water. It was very damp and moldy. You cannot store your canned goods in a damp area in your basement. In a dark place, damp free. You do not want in a damp basement because that will corrode your seals in your jars. All that canning that family did, and she's got 11 kids, all that canning she did was gone, all of it. And I really felt bad for her. But that's, you know, again, I had to learn the hard way too. I mean, I know they don't have internet and stuff like that. I didn't back then either, and that's how I learned also. So now we have YouTube. So I'm telling you guys now, dry your jar lids, keep them in a damp-free environment, and there should be no reason why your jar should rust. And then make sure you take these lids and get your finger in there. Really clean them off and the creases on the outside. Hot soapy water, get these clean also. Because if you don't get these clean, these will rust. And if you have rusty jar lids, or you know, the rings, get rid of them. A little bit of rust isn't going to hurt, but get rid of them. Get both sides. I've had my rings for years. Now I keep mine stored in a container away from any dampness. Okay. Rinse them off pretty good. Get these out of the way. Dry your lids immediately. Because if you sit them down like this, the water still gets in the little crevices here. You want to get all that out of there. And even though it does leave a little ring sometimes in your rag, that's okay. Now this one here is getting pretty rusty, so I'll probably get rid of that one right there. But make sure you get it good and dry. Wait till you got about 50 of these to do. That's where little kids come in handy. There you go. And then store these. I have like a Tupperware container, and I store them in that container and like upstairs in this kitchen here where it's dry. That way your lids will rust. That was another thing about the Amish lady. All her lids rusted and corroded. I wanted to mention, if you notice, I always use ball lids, and I still do, canning lids. But I was watching Homestead Tessie, and I love her show. I really love her. And she was, I'm almost sure it was her that had introduced these lids. They were at the Everything for $1, which is now Everything for $1.25. So she had took them and tried them, and she said that she was satisfied with them. So it's the beginning of the summer, I went and bought a bunch, and I did try it. They have worked. They have not come unsealed yet, and I really like so far what they have done. $1.25 for 10, and that was you might go back to Homestead Tessie and her channel and see what you know, what more she had to say, because that was about a year ago. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the date on these. So I'm just putting turkey because I know it is broth. I make turkey broth. See, this is 2024 now. All right, so I make turkey broth, ham broth, beef broth, and chicken broth. Now I also make dog food, and I will use, since I have a lot of chicken broth, I will use chicken broth in my dog food when I go to cook the rice. I've been doing dog food for over 20 years. Okay, so this is turkey. Alrighty, here we go. Always mark your jars and the date. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you at the end of the video. Watch this short clip real quick. Yes, mice are a problem. Mice are attracted to your jams. They will go in, if you have on the outside where they can smell that and you don't clean that off outside this rim, they will come up and pop that lid off. So always keep that clean and check for mice droppings everywhere around your jars. If you have mice droppings around your jars, then I can almost guarantee you, you have mice invading your food. I know firsthand because I put one of those night cams to find out what was going on. And they actually took their claws and their teeth and popped that lid. All right. Okay, I hope this helps you out. It's another one of my, I call garden tips. So, and beware of those mice also. All right, guys, take care.